Hey, we're playing basketball, right?
That's right. Shed, this is just his 5th game as a college player and making the start here today. You got Reggie Chaney in the starting lineup as well. Alcorn, 1 game in the books. They have not played a game since November the 25th. They win the tip. And we are underway here from the Fertitta Center.
Well, the Braves had 6 consecutive games canceled.
And an early steal from the freshman Shed. So 1 possession and 1 turnover. That was a problem for Alcorn State in their loss to UAB. They had 24 turnovers in that contest.
They made 19 field goals in that game and only had 2 assists.
Opening possession here for the Cougars. A little jump hook comes up short. Reggie Chaney's going to get some free throws and an early whistle against the Braves. Alcorn State, again, just 1 game so far this year, Reed. They play a plethora of non-conference games, guaranteed games, to help build their athletic budget. They've all been postponed, and so this is just their 2nd game of the year.
Well, let's put it in context. And everything's out the window, and the guarantees aren't the same this year. But historically, a guarantee game will be about $80,000. So a team like Alcorn State or other SWAC teams, they travel around the country. They play between 10 and 12 games, and they fund their budget. And, man, I think about schools like this and the impact that COVID's had on everybody, the big guys and the little guys. But programs like Alcorn State, boy, you hurt for where they're going to find their funding.
So the 2 Chaney free throws gives the Cougars an early lead. David Pierce with the basketball will launch a 3-pointer off the back heel. There's an offensive rebound and an early 2nd opportunity here for the Braves. On the baseline, Crosby. He'll be the go-to guy offensively, and there is a turnover in the direction. Troy May Crosby was a gentleman wearing number 0. He is 55 points away from 1,000 as you say hello to Landon Bussey in his first year as a head basketball coach at Alcorn State.
Crosby struggled in that first game. He was just 3 for 14 from the floor. And you see Landon, you talk about Landon Bussey, not a lot to know what's going on with them and how they practice, but a completely different lineup than we anticipated.
Yeah, 10 newcomers from a year ago that finished middle of the pack in the SWAC.
8 transfers and 2 freshmen, and then you have 6 consecutive games canceled.
And I mean, in some good places, too. I mean, they travel around the country. They have a game in Hawaii. They've had cancellations against Stephen F. Austin, Kent State, Dayton. So they get the frequent flyer miles, that's for sure. 11 on the shot clock here for Houston. It's the kind of game that Quentin Grimes could really explode offensively. Got the ball in his hand now. Leans in. Shot missed. Ball deflected, and possession will go to Alcorn State.
The Braves have had the ball twice and 2 turnovers, both of them forced by Jamal Shed. We've seen Jamal Shed come out and assert himself and play with confidence and not defer and really look good. We've also seen him act a little bit like a freshman and disappear. And he has started this game extremely well.
Helps having Jerome and Grimes on the floor with you at the same time.
Well, you're just not going to get playing time for Kelvin Sampson if you're going to be tentative. If you're tentative about anything, then you're just going to take your tentative self over there and sit down on the bench.
Good defense against the double team. Crosby forces up a tough shot. Weak side rebound. And we have a whistle down low. Maybe an issue with the shot clock. People, but, you know, it's COVID. It's protocols. Come on now. As you look at some of the seats inside the Fertitta Center, normally filled. But obviously things are different this year. And there's that shot clock violation. As basically there was just enough time to throw the ball to low, and he was unable to get anything on it. So that goes another Alcorn State turnover.
3 possessions, 3 turnovers.
So we have yet to play 2 minutes. We're looking for our first field goal either way. Jamal Shed averaging 3.5 points a game. Made a remarkable debut in his first game against Lamar. Had 4 block shots in that contest. He has 5 so far on the year. Remember, this is a young man who's only stands 6'1". Posting up, turning, leaning with the left hand, missing the shot that time. And we've got a ball loose and out of bounds as Chaney goes to the glass and does not make the basket. We got contact after the rebound.
We were both surprised to see Reggie Chaney getting the start. Normally we would know what was going on in practice, and he's been practicing hard, and we're not sure. But, boy, Landon Bussey's playing some defense on that sideline.
Got them both feet on the floor and everything. It's a 6-on-5 there.
It's a young man's game, right?
Shot clock at 15 here for the Cougars. Shed goes other side, and there's a turnover. Alcorn, can they take advantage of it for the first basket? Layup attempt comes off the back heel for Crosby. The put-up is there, And the basket is good and on the way for Tyree Corbett. Corbett, by the way, was their second top scorer against UAB, their only game of the year at 11, and he gives the basket to even the contest at 2.
Corbett and Lee in the second half had 20 of the Braves' 23 points.
Wow.
Cougars going to Reggie Chaney. I believe he's touched the ball every time down the court so far.
Nice feed from the free throw line to Shed for the assist. Houston up 4-2 on their first made basket of the game.
Form of rhythm.
As we look a little bit at the Alcorn State program, they still have 2 non-conference games they're going to try to get in. They're going to play Liberty and then Santa Clara and then into the SWAC season. This is a team that is predicted to finish middle of the pack this year in the SWAC. Right now they are down 5 to the Cougars. Jumper, that may have been deflected. I think Grimes got his mitts on it. In front court, Giroux. Caught off at the left elbow. Kick out for 3 ball. That comes up strong for Shed. And Alcorn clears.
That was really good early offense by the Cougars and a good clean look. And boy, Alcorn, turnovers or blocked shots have dominated the first half. Good pass.
Hardman had a good look there momentarily until a Houston defender came in from behind. We have a foul on the Braves. Houston not afraid to attack this basket. This will not be one of the bigger teams that the Cougars will face this year. A lot of 6'5", 6'6" type players playing in post position here for Alcorn State.
And not that decided of an advantage for the Cougars. They're
right.
Not playing anybody over 6'7" today as well. So if you like guys under 6'8", if you want a 6'8" and under league, this is going to be your championship game.
Cougars with possession again with a 5-point lead.
Reggie Chaney really working hard down there in the post.
Grimes to the baseline underneath. Losing it. Deflected a couple of times back into Quinton's hands. Out right side, this is a 3-point try for Giroux off the back heel. Yeah, Dejan Giroux numbers from 3-point range have not been good this year. He's just 3 for 12 overall. Man-to-man defense here early on for the Cougars. Here's Crosby. Again, that should be the main go-to scorer. Arnie Morris with the ball in his hands now. Launching, 3-point try coming up way hard. Everything's too strong. That one from the hands of Byron Joshua. These look like teams that haven't played in a while.
Yeah, sure do.
And taking a block. Wow, a foul will be called as Reggie Chaney has gone in. As you had mentioned, he is attacking the post area in these at least first 5 minutes or so. And taking a spill as an Alcorn player on the floor. It looks like it's Malik Hardman.
He got an elbow across the bridge of the nose. Yeah, sure did. Boy, he took a shot.
So not only does he get the injury, but he also gets the blocking foul called against him as Kobe Wilson, who started the day at the 5, comes back on the floor here for the Braves.
Keep talking about Reggie Chaney being assertive. This is a guy that hasn't, prior to those free throws, hasn't scored this season. Just 0 for 3, and boy, a concerted effort to get him the ball and get him involved, not only in the half court, but giving it to him in transition.
All the way out near midcourt. Taking it is Joanne Roberts, who has checked in. On the baseline, Giroux. Straightaway kick for Gorham. He'll launch around the rim and out. Both teams challenging the floor, but at least again the Cougar offensive rebounds have come to help, including a reverse layup try. That's on the way and through. Beautifully done. Wow. Quentin Grimes. This is one of those nights it feels like you could see a 30-point effort from a young man like that.
Well, he has been so good the last 3 games, averaging about 24 points and 8 rebounds per game.
Yeah, 18 for the season, and again, boy, Alcorn just having a hard time as Tyree Corbett's going to get called for the turnover on that one. As you see the return of Jamal Shedd here for Houston. And he'll take Dejan Giroux's spot on the floor.
Against Boise State, Quentin Grimes had 25 points and 8 rebounds. Against Texas Tech, he had 17 and 7. He talks about it, and Quentin talks about it, that he had to change his mentality. And Kelvin kind of said, look, we're going to reset, and we're going to start with toughness. We're going to start with on the defensive end and rebounding. The offense will come, and, boy, he has bought in.
Mark's going to launch from 3. We're looking for a three-pointer either side here as the teams are collectively 0 for 8. That comes Alcorn, a lob feed from the baseline. That's an air ball attempt by Morris. Grimes comes away with it, and he'll bring it into front court here for the Cougars. Up by 7.
Good pass.
There it is, a two-hand finish on the beautiful feed down low. Nice dunk that time for Jawan Roberts, averaging 3.5 points a game. Also had 6 rebounds to the Cougar attack.
I think Alcorn's had more possessions where the ball did not hit the rim than have hit the rim.
Between turnovers and offensive fouls and air balls.
Block shots.
There's 2 more misses there as they continue to have a hard time finding the basketball. On the baseline, this is Corbin. He'll drain it. That is just the second field goal in 8 tries for Alcorn State. 11-4 Houston. We're approaching 7 minutes gone by here in this first half of play. Shedd.
Ooh, Quentin Grimes was wide open on a back cut.
They love throwing that ball to Roberts to see if he can run the offense from that free throw line. Shot clock down to 10. Turning, twisting, spinning, Gorham. Double team comes. Somebody has to be open. 4 on the clock. Contested 3 for Grimes. Oh, another miss as the Cougars are 0 for 6 from distance here in this first half.
Well, that all started with a lack of recognition. Quentin Grimes went on the weak side and cut off an elbow back screen and was underneath the goal all by himself.
Crosby going against Shedd on the baseline left. More contact. Another offensive foul. Another Alcorn turnover. And their foul count starting to really pile up. That's 6 Reed here. We've not even gotten to the under 12 portion of this first half.
You and I mentioned it a couple times already. In their one game this year, 19 made field goals and only 2 assists. And you're just not going to attack a defense like Houston's off the dribble without moving the ball and sharing it. And if there's any notion that you're just going to grab it and dribble all the way to the rim, you better disavow yourself of that.
Kieron Powell has come in for Houston. This is an opportunity, Reed, for him to get a nice audition here for his coach to get some playing time. Grimes has the basketball right beyond the U of H logo. Contested 2 left corner. Awkward angle from 15. Comes up strong. Back in front court comes Alcorn. They're down by 7. Pierce left side. Bounce pass to Morris. Turns and flips. Looking for a redirect.
Really good defense.
Boy, double teams come to the ball handler almost every single time. Double pumping. Boy, everything contested right now. Alcorn can't even get a shot off. Giroux tipped it. Trying to get it again. Ball loose.
Well, that's got to be a
shot
travel,
clock to 1. That's going to be a violation. No chance. 13 possessions and now 8 turnovers for the Braves as we go under.
Doing this, but what this really is, that's the NBA influence of Kelvin Sampson when he was with Minnesota and with the Rockets. And you see lots of NBA teams, and some teams call it blue, or they go blue or ice, but really good on the ball screen.
Giroux from the free throw line comes up short. Boy, if the Cougars could do anything field goal-wise, it'd be up by 20 at this point. That has been one of the reasons why Alcorn's been able to kind of stick around, is the fact that the Cougars are 4 of 15 from the floor here in the first half. More substitutions here as Tyree Corbett will come in for Alcorn. And what I've noticed so far from Kelvin's substitution patterns, with only 9 guys are getting in a lot, moving around 2-3 minutes at a time. Here's Grimes around the arc, across to Giroux. Shot clock at 13. Leaning in, a tough leader for Jamal Shed.
It looked like he was just trying to draw a foul and get to the free throw line, able to finish through that contact.
13-4, the largest Cougar lead. Another steal. This one coming from the big man, Gorham. Will he take it half the distance? No, he finds a trail and Shed goes to the window. Back-to-back baskets from the freshman from Maynard.
Hey, Jamal Shed, that's got to be his 4th, and not crediting him with steals. That is the 4th turnover that he has forced here in the first 10 minutes of this basketball game. Boy, that kid can really defend.
And making life miserable for the Braves wing players. And we have a foul out high, and Jamal was being bragged on, a whistle called against him.
He was trying to do exactly what we just showed Dejan Giroux, but to do it, you've got to separate yourself and you have to get up high. But there he is contesting when the dribble is killed, and second good finish through contact by the young freshman. I like this kid.
Yep, Tremont Mark has come in now for Quentin Grimes. And Troymaine Crosby is going to come in. Troymaine is one of the few holdovers from last year's roster. Last year, averaging almost 14 points a game for the Braves. He had 9 points against UAB. Couldn't stick around very long. He had 5 fouls and 17 minutes of action.
Yeah, just 3 for 14 in that game, so he was a high-volume shooter in their first contest.
Here's Corbett for a long 3. Class only. We are still looking for our first three-pointer either direction. Giroux trying to go for the long, hard 2, and he kicks out for a 3-ball. And as I call for it, we got it from the hands of Jamal Shed, who has put up, 7 points in the last 2 minutes. Lead comfortably up now to 18-4. And almost another turnover.
Alcorn just cannot get into their offensive sets. The Cougars on a 7-0 run now. 9 turnovers for Alcorn State, and Landon Bussey's team's got to figure out how to handle this pressure.
Reggie Chaney returns, started again today for Bryson Gresham at the 5 position, and we were talking about quick timeouts. Quentin Grimes probably sat on the bench in about 90 seconds before he returned to the Houston lineup. Even the walk-ons read stricken with COVID. All 15 players on the Cougar basketball program since the beginning of the season, not since the last 2 weeks, but all 15 have been infected, unfortunately, with COVID, and fortunately on the road to recovery here.
Is that crazy? When Kelvin said that this week, people were like, wait, you misspoke. Did you say all 15?
All 15, over different periods of time. On the baseline, Crosby just couldn't get it to his man at the free throw line. That will go as another miscue for Alcorn State. And I think that's going to put him at 9 or 10 turnovers here in this first. Make it now 10. Man, 10 turnovers and 2 field goals.
You know, I don't think we're counting air balls as turnovers statistically, but if we were, hey, I'm telling you, they've thrown up 6 air balls.
And speaking of turnovers, the Giroux combination to Gorham didn't work out. We have gone over 10.5 minutes of Division I basketball, and Alcorn sitting here with just 4 points on 2 field goals.
Well, they average 19% from the three-point line is what they were in their first game, just 3 for 16.
Well, their numbers here today are going to help the Cougar defense in that category, as a top-of-the-key jumper comes up strong for Crosby. And the loose ball possession will go to the Braves. So the University of Houston came in at 12 of 64 defensively against the 3. That's 19%. We'll add 5 more misses, so that's now 12 of 69 for a Cougar opponents this year.
Coming into the game, that was good for 5th in the NCAA in three-point field goal percentage defense.
Another turnover on the inbound from the hands of Dejan Giroux.
Holy cow.
To the lane. Mark goes up, rattles it home.
That pass was not to Tremont Mark. That pass was to Quentin Grimes, and Mark was running the lane on the left side and actually stole that pass.
But the scorecard is going to say nice layup from Mark, right?
Yeah, I guess. Quentin Grimes was like, oh, like somebody pulled the chair out from under him.
Lead at 16. Crosby on the baseline, nearly a high dribble. Reverse layup, and there's a foul called, and we'll get free throws coming up here for the senior from Laurel, Mississippi. He's preseason all-WAC first team as you look at the explosiveness of Giroux. And who is he throwing to, Reed Geddes?
Yeah, see, I'm telling you, did you see Grimes? He had his hands up. Show that one more time if we can. Quentin Grimes is running with his hands up, and Tremont Mark came into the picture late and stole that pass.
That free throw for Crosby will end the 9-0 run.
Take a look at it again. Watch Grimes' hands. Look. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm making something up.
I think you're trying to create some chemistry issues. I don't see it at all. I just don't. All right, Gorham to the bench. So too Kieron Powell.
I am often wrong, seldom in doubt.
Well, at least you sold it to us. Well.
I did. I sold it right. I asked for it again.
15-point Cougar lead as we approach 8 minutes remaining until halftime. Giroux cut off at the right elbow. And he gets called for a walk. There's a part of me that believes there's ice underneath this court because they're slipping and sliding like a hockey game at times.
And not just today.
Yeah. That's where I think he got caught. I don't think he meant to take the extra step. I think the feet moved without him really thinking about it. So for turnovers, that's 4 for them, by the way.
I remember one time I was calling a game in Lubbock, Texas Tech, and there was a dust storm. There was like an inch layer of dust on the ground, and players would try to jump stop, and they would literally slide. And the official was trying to decide whether that was really travel, right? If you don't establish a pivot foot and you slide, well, that's what it looked like just a second ago on Dejan Giroux's jump stop.
Quentin Grimes fouling the man that you see at the free throw line. Arnie Morris going to be 3 free throws for Morris. This is his first attempt of the year, and he knocks it down. Morris, one of the key reserves, a senior out of Raleigh. He also had a difficult time staying on the floor. He had 5 fouls in 16 minutes of play. Here's try 2, short. And back comes Jamal Shed, and Dejan Giroux will go to the Houston bench. More substitutions in for Alcorn as we see Tyree Corbett return and Byron Joshua.
Cougars playing today without a lot of players, but 2 key players. Caleb Mills, who we still haven't seen 100%, was out with ankle injury before COVID hit the team, and Marcus Sasser also out.
Shed to a reverse layup. Cheney comes up short. That comes Alcorn with a head of steam, and there's a loose basketball and yet another turnover. That was a case where I believe the man with the basketball in his hands, Joshua, thought somebody was coming after for the steal. Instead, he turned to his left, turned to his right, and realized there's no one near me, and he turned the ball over. Turnovers, a huge part of the reason why Alcorn State finds themselves.
Young man has at least 4, if not 5 steals. What a great job of taking advantage of an opportunity to get some significant playing time in this game.
And a lot of this game tonight, frankly, is about getting a sweat going.
Yeah, that's
running
right.
94 feet up and down the floor against somebody not named your own teammate. Full court pressure being applied here by the Braves. Cougars will break it nicely. Grimes in the front court. Cougars at 14.
A good adjustment by Landon Bussey. Try something different coming out of timeout. See if you can change the pace of the game.
The pick and roll, and they almost finish as Reggie Cheney's going to get some free throws out of it. Boy, Reggie Cheney just been able to get to the line, get involved, more involved in the offense. And he's one of the kids that Kelvin told us a couple weeks ago he felt bad because against some of the smaller teams, he's not going to get rotation time. This opportunity here with the lack of roster spots, he's making the most of it.
He's been really good. That was a great set, great spacing. It was a middle of the floor on the ball screen, rolled right down the middle and actually got hung up a little bit. Thought he was on the left side of the rim when he caught it, and he looked up and tried to spin it over there on the right. But well, he has been assertive, aggressive, has looked good here the first 13 minutes.
His career high is 17 while he was at Arkansas. He won't get there today, but kind of shows you what he can potentially do.
Well, why are you saying he isn't going to get there today?
Well, I think somebody else will be getting some career highs. All right, we will have a small ice water bet on this
for
one.
entertainment value
only entertainment. to our entertainment only. No one else can be entertained by it. Here's a shot at the tip of the baseline. That's on the way and good for Tremaine Crosby. Crosby averaging, as I mentioned, 14 points a game last year. All SWAC first team, so we'll have keep an eye on him over the course of the year. They'll be in town to play at TSU and on to Prairie View later on this year. Shot attempt from the right elbow doesn't drop, and the rebound comes down to Alcorn. They find themselves down 13.
Speaking of Prairie View, Landon Bussey was an assistant over there for the last 6 years in his first season with Alcorn.
Here's Crosby again, left of the free throw line. Bad angle, easy rebound that time, picked up by Joanne Roberts.
Good pass.
Grimes underneath and kind of hobbling a little bit as Reggie Chaney. Hope nothing's too serious on that. Got another whistle, and the foul count starts to pile up again as the Cougars will find themselves in the bonus.
A really nice lead bounce pass, and Reggie Chaney, he simply ran harder than anybody else on the floor. He started down here almost at the left block, and look at him beat everybody down the floor. And, well, he didn't look like that ankle was as bad as it looked in the replay. Got a beautiful release. It's like, maybe now we understand why he's getting more playing time, but Reggie Chaney really looks good.
So Chaney's putting up some numbers, a lot of it, frankly, where he is right now at the free throw line.
Well on his way to 17 and a new.
You're going to make me look bad, aren't you? All right, it's got 7 now, so he's on average with 6:30 remaining until halftime, 15-point lead. Good man-to-man defense as Tremont Mark is getting some time. A foul out high. Wow, not much, but Jamal Shedd's going to get a whistle called against him.
Look, that is a lack of communication. Whoever's defending the screener, you've got to call it out sooner. So that's Chaney. See, we've been bragging on him. He didn't yell out screen. If you're going to ice the on-the-ball screen, you have to have communication. Say, screen, right, and give him a chance to get up high and separate from that screener.
A tough contested 2 for Tremaine Crosby on the baseline. That is just what the third field goal of the game for the Alcorn State Braves. Another Houston turnover allowing the Braves to run something here.
That was a terrible pass from Jamal Shedd.
Out high, this is Tyree Corbett having a hard time holding on the basketball. Gives it back to his point guard. This is Myson Lowe running it down the floor. Shot clock at 10. Back to Crosby, another contested 2 that comes down way strong. And an easy weak side rebound by the Cougars and Justin Gorham. Shedd right side angle. Gets by his defender. Feet underneath. Laying it up. Missing the shot is Reggie Chaney, but he'll get more free throws.
Beautiful change of pace by Jamal Shedd. He came down. He hesitated. He straightened his body up. And when he straightened up, the defensive player straightened up. And Shedd lowered that left shoulder and blew past him.
Reggie Chaney owning some real estate 15 feet away from the basket as he makes another free throw. That gives him now 6 of 7 from the line here in the first half.
9 points for Reggie Chaney.
Oh, jeez. I'm going to hear about this entire second half, aren't I?
You wait till we start building graphics at halftime after.
Try to. Well, none of that miss. You're not going to. Cougars up by 14. 5.5 remaining until halftime. Not much of a flow in this contest. A lot of turnovers. Not a lot of perimeter action either from either side here in this first half. A lot of free throws. Pierce, long 3. Good defense from Mark to put a hand in his face. Here's Grimes across the timeline. Picks up that dribble. Mark. Pass deflected, moving around. Nice reverse layup. Oh, yeah, Reggie Chaney. The president of the fan club of Reggie Chaney standing here inside Fertitta Center. He's my partner.
That's what I'm talking about.
26-10 in favor of the Cougars. 9 field goals for Houston in the first half compared to just 4 for the Braves, and we have a whistle.
And the Cougars have been very efficient. They have 6 assists on 9 made field goals. For the Braves, 4 made field goals and still looking for their first assist.
Tremont Mark with the whistle as you see Chaney with already 10 first half points to the bench. Shot clock at 21. Both teams in the bonus here the rest of the half. Baseline too strong on the attempt for David Pierce. And the rebound comes down to Houston. Dejan Giroux across midcourt. Crossover dribble. Right side to Mark. And a whistle. It'll be on the Alcorn State end of the floor. Hands are up in the air. We got more free throws here for Houston as Myson Lowe is going to get called for the whistle.
Myson Lowe got pinned down there. Myson Lowe's a 5'10" freshman, and he got isolated down low like Bryson Gresham trying to front him. That was good recognition. Tremont Mark, credit him. He allowed that mismatch to develop. Instead of throwing the ball and reversing it, he waited and let Gresham try to fight for position, and a pretty good awareness by the freshman Tremont Mark.
So Gresham missing the free throw. That's his first one of the year. Attempted, and he'll get a double bonus here. Alcorn thought they were about to go on a break, but that was the 10th whistle against them here in the first half. Just got a call from the Naismith Hall of Fame, Reed. They do not want this game so far. Maybe we'll see something more legendary in half number 2. All I can tell you is I got a couple of missed free throws here. 26-10 with 4.5 remaining until halftime. Giroux out high. Major size advantage Houston defensively. Going up and in and dropping it in for 2. Nicely done by Troymaine Crosby, who feels like he's a one-man scoring machine here for Alcorn State.
Yeah, that was a really nice basket. And a little bit of a hesitation up and under, and finished through contact on Quentin Grimes. And it's a nice basket by Crosby. Good pass.
Giroux does a nice job, leans into his low block, and he gets a man down low. It's Bryson Gresham for the deuce. 28-12, a 16-point Houston lead, as we're now under 4 until halftime. Pierce, right side angle. Serious size advantage, about 7 inches. Nice entry feed down low to Joshua, and he'll get some free throws out of it. Haven't had a lot of success on the floor early on for Alcorn State, just 29%. But this for Alcorn State, we have the Houston Cougars climbing up that top 10.
Number 6 is the highest the Houston program has been in 37 years, since 1983 squad.
Who was on that team?
They had some really good players, and then some guys that just rode some coattails.
Byron Joshua with the free throw. Now, you and I are working together one more time on Tuesday. I'm going to make reference to the time you had the one slam dunk in a game.
Well, it'll be a brief mention, my friend.
But I know who it was, and it was a nationally televised game, I believe. Although, at that point in your career, you guys at almost every one of your games were nationally televised back in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Back when you had 4 channels. There's a lane drive, and Tremont Mark with 2 more.
Really impressed with the maturity of Tremont Mark. He had a shot out there at 3, turned around, squared up, and looked at the floor and saw the driving lane and did not settle for the jump shot.
Foul will be called on Quentin Grimes. He's a little bit of disbelief there. 8th team foul called against the Cougars as Byron Joshua to the line with a 3-point finish. Nope. Rebound picked up by Justin Gorham, who returns. Cougars up 16. Cougars 11 of 24 from the floor in the first half, and now you can make it 12 of 25. A nice layup that time for Quentin Grimes.
A good adjustment on the early offense for Houston. That's the exact same spot on the floor we just saw Tremont Mark catch the ball, and the exact same drive to the baseline. 18-point
Houston advantage. As we're under 3, here comes the 3-ball. Another miss as Alcorn continues to suffer from long range. That shot attempt taken by Tyree Corbett, who had 11 points in their first game of the season against UAB. They only scored 50 in the entire contest. Mark looking for back-to-back baskets and could not finish. Actually, 2 of his last 3 baskets, the other one was supplied by Quentin Grimes. Back comes Alcorn with 2.5 remaining until halftime. Pierce, step back, long 2, around the rim and out. Ball deflected, and they will say last touched off of Tremont Mark. So Alcorn will get it with 20 to shoot. As we see Jamal Shedd return for Houston. And Mark will go to the bench. Boy, Tremont Mark and Jamal Shedd during this time of unfortunate COVID getting valuable playing minutes here. Both freshmen. Mark from Dickinson, Shedd from Maynard.
I like that. He was getting some strong coaching from Kelvin Sampson. Took a bad shot, forced it, got immediately taken out, knew he was coming out when the horn sounded, and went over to the coach, listened to him, nodded, and kept his head up.
As compared to turning his head and walking the sideline and pretending he wasn't even there. Well, Grimes gives up the open 3. Lane comes up short. We've got a whistle. Grimes gets slapped across the head. 2 free throws coming up for him.
Grimes, boy, he is lightning quick, and that spin move was beautiful. He has been beyond excellent at the free throw line. Comes into this game shooting 85%, 22 for 26 for the season.
Yeah, the entire squad's at 80%. The opponents in the first 4 games only at 58% from the line.
That's crazy. 80% from the free throw line. That will win you a lot of games. Right now, that's 13th best in the country. And watch this spin move and attack the basket. Well, that's strong.
That's a young man that realizes maybe his three-point shot isn't ready right now, that I can go against a smaller David Pierce and probably win that battle.
Yeah, but there's no reason that his three-point shot can't be there. I mean, he's got a beautiful release. It's a high release. He gets great rotation on the ball. Just 7 for 25, but as long as he doesn't force it, allows it to come to him, he's going to shoot a lot better from the three-point line.
Against 3 Houston defenders, forcing up a shot put attempt that time was Tremaine Crosby. And we've got a ball out of bounds in possession to Houston. But Crosby at that point has got to probably pull back a little bit and say, I'm not going to win that battle against 3 Houston defenders. 20-point lead, largest for the Cougars. Here's Grimes again. Tough off-balance shot left of the rim. Keeping it alive. Open man Giroux for a triple. No. Offensive rebound. Keeping the offensive series alive, and we've got a foul. And looking down low, fighting for that playing time is Kieron Powell.
Yeah, that was the most aggressive we've seen Kieron Powell. Went up in the middle of 2 or 3 people, those long arms, and that was a really good, strong offensive rebound. 6 foot 10-inch freshman out of Evansville, Indiana. And look at him go up and get this ball in the middle of traffic.
Malik Hardman with the foul. That is his 3rd of the half, so we've not mentioned his name a whole lot except to tell you that they're going to change the call, give it to Wilson instead, his first, so they'll wipe that off.
Kieron still looking for his first point of his Houston career.
And we were here to witness it.
There you go. 7-0 run the last 2 minutes for Houston.
And the lead is up now to 21, as you see again, Alcorn with just 5 field goals and 4 free throws. And they are still looking, Reed, for their first three-point shot. They're 0 for 9 here in the half.
And 0 assists.
That really comes as no surprise.
That is
based off of that first game they played.
Staggering to me. Well, it's a nice-looking jump shot there coming off of a handoff.
Yeah, that's David Pierce for a long 2, 35-18 as we approach 60 seconds left. And boy, going in and getting absolutely hammered is Dejan Giroux. Nursing a little bit of a hit, and he'll stand up, go back to the free throw line.
It's David Pierce's first three-pointer of the season.
Oh, they are going to call it a 3. Okay, I thought they had the silent official had his original hand down, but there's the free throw missed, so we'll call it a 3. 1 of 10 now for the Braves in this first half.
Talked about how good the Cougars have been at the free throw line. An exception has been Dejan Giroux, and that's surprising because he last year was an excellent free throw shooter. Now just 7 for 13 for the season.
But to no surprise, the offensive rebound battles goes for an alley-oop. Sheds pass too much, but we've got a whistle as Dejan Giroux gets fouled on the way up. And Dejan will have a couple of more free throws.
Shed threw that ball. He's almost standing on the K of Pinnock on the court, and that's a long way to throw on the opposite side of the rim, alley-oop.
Yeah, Giroux could not have been able to dunk that. That would have been more of just a take the ball in the air and put it up, I think. The angle was a little off for him. So, frankly, he's probably happy that he got fouled. Chance to get some points out of this series.
You know, that's a great point. A lot of times kids think, I got to go ahead and try to dunk it. There's nothing wrong with catching the ball and coming down, gathering yourself, getting under balance, and at least in theory, then going to the free throw line and knocking them down. Boy, 0 for the last 3 for Dejan Giroux.
Un-Cougar-like at the free throw line of the half. They're 10 of 18. And wave it off as we have a violation. And they're going to call it against the Cougars.
Is that on Gresham? A line? No, that was on Kieron. A lane violation.
So a team that has 1 3-pointer and 8 missed free throws, still enjoying a 19-point lead here as we approach halftime. Cougar defense again maintains terrific intensity. Nothing coming easy here for Alcorn. A contested 2 left corner. Tough looking make, and it's good for Troymaine Crosby. Well, he's had some tough makes here in this first half.
Has. He had one over there on the left block, a turnaround fadeaway over a double team, and that was a really tough bucket.
Kelvin Sampson's going to call a timeout. It's a use it or...
Man, they got knocked out of so many games for the other program, and then finally got an opponent to come in, and because of their positive test, it was just 1 week after another.
All right, shot clock is off. The game clock is all we have left. Shed to Giroux. To the lane he goes. Up and under. Out left corner. Shed for the 3 short. Gets his own rebound, but the shot attempt will be late. So, needless to say, neither team is going to be bragging about their stat sheet except the one basketball team that owns.
He made some really tough buckets in the first half.
Cougars open with the basketball in period number 2, up by 17. Quentin Grimes has the basketball. To the top to Gorham. On the baseline is Shed, the freshman, getting the start today. Tremont Mark's going to open up period number 2 as one of the wing players. So a pair of freshmen on the floor at the same time. Shed comes up the left elbow, misses the shot, fighting for that rebound and taking teammates with him on the floor. Is that Justin Gorham taking down a couple of guys? Yeah,
that's Justin Gorham's 11th rebound. Had 10 going into the locker room. Immediately chases one down. He does such a good job of rebounding out of position. So many of his rebounds aren't because he has someone blocked out and the ball comes down to him. You see him going all over the floor to grab loose shots.
That was Tyree Corbett had a hard time walking back to the Alcorn sideline, so a quick substitution here, and this is the opening possession for the Braves. And we have a foul before an extra step. Handling the ball, there's Troymaine Crosby, who's been doing much of the damage. And when he takes his first uncontested shot, let me know, because it feels like there's a Cougar defender with him every step of the way.
I mean, somebody in his face. He's jumped through contact, faded away from double teams, up and under. He's made some really tough shots.
So an early foul against the Cougars here. Again, still opening possession. It was on Shed. Shot attempt coming up left side. That's good. A rare early make here for Kobe Wilson, the senior from Kennesaw, Georgia. It's 35-20.
The first assist of the game for Alcorn State.
3 ball coming from Mark. No. Cougars again still rebound. Nursing with 1 triple so far, but another offensive rebound. Grimes turns. 1-on-1 against Pierce. Ball loose, taken away. Here come the Braves. Maybe a fast break opportunity, but they cannot complete it as an errant pass results in a Brave turnover. So 35-20, the lead for Houston. More substitutions coming in as Taja Fraley is on the floor here. Fraley, a junior out of Snellsville, Georgia. And to the bench will go Malik Hardman. Landon Bussey has not been afraid to get guys in literally at 30 to 45 second clips. Here's Shed. Cut off mid lane. Gorham gives up the 3, a jump hook, in and out, tap up, rebound picked up by Fraley.
Gorham got away with an offensive foul. He took that left forearm and shoved off.
Crosby on the baseline. Separation, jumper good for over Gorham. Wow, good looking shot that time for Crosby, who has become the main threat here offensively for Alcorn State.
I might be tempted to say the only threat. Another difficult shot.
Grimes at the left elbow, pops in a 15-foot jumper. He could probably do that all day long if he wanted to.
You get the feeling he could get a shot every time down the floor.
And there is another 3-pointer, the second one of the game for Alcorn State at 37-25. Matter of fact, I called a 3-point shot a 2 earlier. They took it off the book, so I was right on the original call. That is officially now the first 3-pointer today for the Braves.
I got it in transition before the defense could set up, just ran straight into the shot. And look at the degree of difficulty on that shot. I mean, Justin Gorham is 6'7", is right, could not be closer to Troymaine Crosby on that shot.
Jamal Shed, as you just saw, heads to the Houston bench. 37-25 is Alcorn here kind of creeping in a little bit here in this early portions of period number 2. Can make it a single-digit game here with the basket. Fade away for Crosby. Short. Crosby gets his own rebound against the tall trees of the Cougars. Ball deflected a couple of times out of bounds. The possession will stay with the Braves. So Crosby with his own make a rebound off of the miss. And Giroux is claiming some pushing and, I guess, forearm shivering, if you will. By the way, Giroux has not scored a point so far in this game. Nearly 3 into the second half. Joshua out left side. Floater coming up. No good that time for Pierce. Can the Cougars finally pick up? They do on the rebound. Picked up by Mark. 7-2 run to open up the half here for Alcorn State. Giroux, left side of the floor to Grimes. Inside the paint. Goes off baseline. 3-point try, no good on the baseline. Attempted by Gorham. Out quickly in transition and throwing it up, just looking for the foul, and he got it was Tajon Fraley. Fraley that time knew where there was a white-shirted defender behind him and knew that any sort of contact would be better than a shot attempt.
This is a good adjustment by Alcorn State. Instead of trying to get baskets in their half-court sets, it looks like coming out of the locker room, they're really committed to transition, getting quick looks at the basket, and it's a nice adjustment by Landon Bussey.
Giroux with his second foul for the Cougars. Also 2 whistles against Houston here in the half as Fraley misses the first of 2. Back comes Jamal Shed. Dejan Giroux to the bench. Giroux, no points, has only taken 3 shots. 2 of them have been 3-pointers, and he's missed all 3 of his free throws. He does have a couple of assists and a steal in his 17 minutes of play tonight.
Does not have a double-double this year, but boy, he is a walking double-double, averaging 9 points per game, 8 rebounds and 3 assists. And I anticipate he's going to put up a handful of double-doubles before this season's over.
Lead cut to 11 for Houston. Shed facing a double team between the rings. Leaving man open, laying it up with the right hand, Reggie Chaney. First basket after a 10-point first half of play.
Cheney with 12 points, 5 away from his career high.
Last 6 minutes of gameplay, the Cougars just 2 field goals and 13 tries. Fraley hands it off. Now Crosby eventually with the basketball in his hands. Block shot way out high. Goodness. Nice job by Gorham, but it's back in the hands of an Alcorn State player, and that's going to be 2 free throws coming up for Kobe Wilson. So the offensive rebounds, even after a good block shot, going Alcorn's way. They were down.
Men of graduating early, and he'll start classes towards his master's degree in the spring.
Free throw on the way for Kobe Wilson. So at one point, a 21-point advantage has been shaved here to 12 as we're just 4 minutes and change gone by here in the second half.
On the bottom right corner of your screen, you see Landon Bussey. Boy, he is working it. He is up and down, and he has breathed some life into his Braves.
Here's Jamal Shed facing pressure in the backcourt by Byron Joshua. Now to Grimes in front of that Houston Cougar bench. He got poked in the eye, and the foul's going to be called on David Pierce. That'll be the first Alcorn foul of the half, and I think at this point in the first half they were at the 5 or 6 foul count, so they've started to be a little more disciplined here in the second half.
Well, and haven't had a turnover in the second half either.
So the first whistle against the Braves, side out to Houston. Grimes back with it.
First half, the Cougars made a concerted effort to get the ball inside to Reggie Chaney. They have not been doing that in the second half, and I'm not sure why. He's gotten to the free throw line or scored almost every time he's touched the ball.
Shot clock at 3. Mark still way out high. A leaner beyond the free throw line comes up short. Rebound picked up that time by Joshua. The ball stripped. Alcorn saves it. No whistle either way. Possession stays with Troymaine Crosby and Alcorn State. Leans in, draws contact. It's an air ball, but he'll get 2 free throws on the foul called against Justin Gorham.
Troymaine Crosby has been really good in this game. He has played like he belongs on the floor. Look at the nice up and under. He draws the foul and gives that ball a chance to go in, and he has been really good.
So Crosby is 1 of 2 from the line, and on the year he's 4 of 6. You can make it 5 of 7. As we welcome back J'Wan Roberts. Roberts will go in for Reggie Chaney. And looky here, Reed Geddes. It's a 10-point game right now.
Well, credit Alcorn State, right? They had every reason in the world to go in at halftime and feel like this thing was over and not come out with any fight. And they have done just the opposite. They have made this a basketball game here in the second half.
They've outscored the Cougars 11-4, and there's a forced turnover on a strip from behind into the hands of Byron Joshua. Good run point here again for Alcorn State. They trail by 10. Crosby looking for contact again. Missed the shot off the front rim. Rebound secured by the Cougars, and we'll get a whistle, and we'll go the other direction. As Reggie Chaney got a hold of it. Foul will be on Troymaine Crosby.
Really good defense. Justin Gorham straight up and down. He left his hands straight up, and principle of verticality. That was a good no call. If I'm Landon Bussey, I don't leave that young man on the bench for very long.
Landon Bussey, I didn't even know there's a coach's box, too. He is way on the floor right now for Alcorn State.
Got an assistant out there on the floor with him.
Left corner, this is Grimes for a 3-ball. That is desperately needed. That's just the second 3-ball of the game for the Houston Cougars.
2 for 13.
There's Joshua. Out left side, 3-ball for Pierce. Glass only. This is a help out transition. 4-on-2 break. Left corner for Shed for a triple. Comes up short. Another offensive rebound, that time from J'Wan Roberts. Left to Grimes. Grimes a tall tree. Wilson all over him. Shot clock under 10. Nice crossover. Allen Carey was too nice of a crossover.
You don't see that called very often. He looked like his hand was underneath the ball. Nice spot up, catch and shoot 3 in transition by Quentin Grimes.
The 8th turnover called against Houston as Malik Hardman returns. 42-29. Houston up by 13. Again, largest lead in the first half was 21. Pierce to the lane, lost it. Another turnover. In the open floor, here's Shed. He lost the basketball, tippy-toeing along the baseline and unable to stay in bounds was Justin Gorham. Good effort, but the possession will not result in a basket off of that Alcorn turnover.
How about the defense by, was that Arnie? Yeah, Arnie Morris came in and played that perfectly.
So the Braves just kind of hanging around here as we're 6.5 into the second half. And they're doing it by not shooting very well. Spent a lot of Crosby and some free throws and a hand check out here against Quentin Grimes.
Generally, you don't say a team's gotten back in the game by not shooting well.
those are two sentences that don't get put together that often. You're right.
Credit these kids, man. They have come out and shown some heart, and they believe right now, and Houston's going to have to lock down that defense again, or they're going to have a fight they did not expect.
And an offensive foul will be called against Byron Joshua, trying to separate himself from Jamal Shed. Nice clear out, and got called for it. That'll go as another Alcorn turnover as we welcome back Dejan Giroux, still looking for his first point in the game. Maybe the graduation gifts coming in from all of his friends and family, and think about everything but scoring. But boy, he just gives it to you on both ends of the floor. Irriton on the defensive side, and a pretty good ball handling on the offensive side. And the foul in backcourt, wow, a really silly one, but be called on Byron Joshua.
It was interesting. Last time down, I didn't think Jamal Shed carried the ball. I thought he brought it way out to his right. He had his hand on the side of it underneath. That time, he clearly had his hand underneath and lifted the ball up over the arm of the defensive player.
So 2 fouls on Joshua here in the last 20 or so seconds. 4 fouls against Alcorn State collectively. Nearly 7 minutes into the second half. Mark down the lane for Shed. Floater in and out. Offensive rebound secured. J'Wan Roberts.
What a great rebound by J'Wan Roberts.
On a crossover, the lefty, the Mark, the freshman from 15. A lot of guys getting career highs in points, especially the ones that haven't worn the University of Houston uniform for about 5 or 6 games. Cougars lead back up to 15. A lot of bumping beyond the perimeter. Floater for Joshua. Foul. Blocking will be called against Houston. And Byron Joshua will go to the free throw line on the whistle against Houston. They'll call it against Justin Gorham.
Tremont Mark yet to go to the free throw line. That's very unexpected. He excels at drawing contact, getting to the line, and early in this season he has already attempted 36 free throws, but the Braves doing a good job playing hands-off defense on the young freshman.
You would never think a true freshman would ever lead the team in free throw attempts. He dominates that category.
And off the bench, playing less than 20 minutes per game.
Too much on that attempt by Joshua, and he'll get one more as a Tajon Fraley and Kobe Wilson return for the Braves.
And that debut for the young freshman from Dickinson, Tremont Mark, had 23 points. He was 10 of 13 from the free throw line in his collegiate debut.
That's why his season numbers of averaging 15 is a little skewed, because he got a lot of that in that first game of the year. Free throw there cuts it to a 14-point Houston lead at 44-30. Giroux will bring it up front court here for Houston. To Mark on the right side angle. To the lane. Wide open left corner. Three-pointer. Nope. Too much for Shed. Another weak side rebound for the Cougars and a reset.
They've got Gorham down for 12 rebounds, but I've got 2 they missed. He's going to be flirting with a career high. Another rebound. Career high for Justin Gorham. 17 rebounds, and he is going to chase that number here this afternoon.
Shed. Double pumps. Looks for an open man. It's Giroux. Shot clock down to 7. This possession has taken forever here for the Cougars, but they've had a couple of shot opportunities. Down to 3. Down to 2. At 1. A floater. First basket of the game for Dejan Giroux as the shot clock expires.
The ability to go get your own basket, get your own shot, and that couldn't have been a better offensive possession for Dejan Giroux on a play that was completely off schedule.
Quietly, the Cougars back up now 16. Another steal. Mark to a fellow freshman in Shed. He's fouled and one. Silly foul. A little bit of frustration that time for the Braves. So a Cougar run here.
Is that right?
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, their number 2 game, unless they're playing today, is going to be against the Cougars on Tuesday.
That is true. So not much of a warm-up for them to enter conference competition. Philadelphia has just been beset by the city itself, by protocols and massive problems with the COVID, unfortunately, as of a lot of cities in our country have, but especially in that northeast corridor. Foul is going to be on Jamal Shed as Alcorn brings it into front court. That's his 3rd, as Quentin Grimes returns here for the Cougars, and Shed will go to the bench.
Jamal Shed has been really good. He's got 10 points in this game. They've only credited him with 2 steals, and if you're not going to count him as steals, we ought to at least acknowledge he's forced about 4 or 5 turnovers just with his relentless on-the-ball defense.
Nice and low, and doesn't make the first front end of the 1-and-1, and the Cougars come up with a rebound, and Giroux clears. So once down to a 10-point game, the Cougars have exploded to a 19-point advantage here at 49-30. Giroux around the arc to Tremont Mark. Back to Giroux. Out left side, Grimes spots up for 3. No. Boy, the Cougars have had a miserable time shooting threes. I mean, no surprise that Alcorn's 1-12, but the Cougars coming in now into this contest after that latest miss, 2 of 16 from distance. As Tremaine Crosby comes in for Alcorn State, he'll replace Malik Hardman.
I wonder how much of that shooting is just a lack of conditioning.
No
so
question.
Often when you see people struggling from the outside behind the three-point lines because their legs are not under them, they're not getting enough lift, and with the 2 weeks off and no game and very limited practices, I wonder if that's factoring into the shooting.
Yeah, Crosby looks like he's in good shape. He's a 15-foot jumper and right near the free throw line to make it a 49-32 game.
Crosby now leads all Alcorn State scorers. He's got 12.
We're nearing the midway point of the second half. Giroux with 1 basket in this game. Mark sets up on baseline triple. Another miss. Weak side rebound secured by Grimes, and they'll get a whistle against Alcorn State. I think they're going to get Kobe Wilson for it. Both teams, by the way, will be in the bonus here the rest of the way. This has been a 14-14 score between these two teams here in this second half. So it kind of shows you that Landon Bussey kind of challenges kids during the halftime to make this more of a competitive basketball game.
Well, they have. He ought to be very proud. I don't know how this game's going to end up, but Landon Bussey's got some things to work with. His team has shown him some heart. They came in and they just got it handed to them in the first half, and Houston really wasn't playing all that well, and still they were up big. And Alcorn State went into the locker room, regrouped, and came out, and they've done a good job competing.
Reggie Chaney, the dish, and the layup for Tremont Mark, and a one. So Chaney comes in on the floor, doesn't get a basket, but provides an assist.
He's really good at the elbow. They run the off-court, a lot of half-court sets with him at the elbow. That was on a baseline out-of-bounds play, and nice job using his body by Tremont Mark, but set up by a nice pass from Reggie Chaney from that left elbow.
That's Tremaine Crosby's fourth foul, so he is in trouble of a fouling out for the second time in as many games. Mark with a three-point opportunity, completed 52-32. This match is very close to the largest lead of the game. 21 was the biggest Houston advantage. Morris, out right corner, three ball. It's an air ball attempt. Easy rebound the weak side by the Cougars. Here comes Mark in front. Dish to Chaney, turns and spins.
It'll be 3 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Gorham's lucky. Instead, it's a three-pointer for Dejan Giroux.
Look, you can't step out of bounds and stop the 3-second count. Even if you step off the floor, the count continues. Cougars fortunate not to get called for that.
Dejan Giroux with the second triple of the 23, with 9:23 remaining here in the second half of play. Cougars going to go to 5-0 in the season as long as there's not a miraculous comeback here by the Braves. Morris spins it off to Pierce, goes the lane, high off the backboard and in. David Pierce, that was a tough looking shot. He was scoreless against UAB and finds himself in the scorecard here with a basket.
Best offensive set of the afternoon for Alcorn State. Really nice dribble handoffs. They had good spacing. Their best offensive possession.
Pierce now with 7 points. 21-point lead. A little bit of a stumble that time by Tremont Mark. Forces a turnover. Alcorn State with possession. Morris again running point this trip down the floor. Up fake, turn and spin. Crosby looks for a reverse layup. Foul before the shot, but free throws coming up as both teams have been in the bonus here for quite some time. And the foul is going to be on Reggie Chaney. Third foul on Chaney.
Nice job using his body. See how open the floor was? I mean, he turned that corner, and Kelvin's not going to be pleased that there wasn't weak side defense, but by far the best possession for back, and you finally get Mills back and healthy, and suddenly, instead of an 8-9 man rotation, you're throwing 11 different players at people, and I absolutely think there's things to be gained from this.
Tremaine Crosby with the first to two. Because, if there's anything about Coach Sampson, this team is not defined by what the G or F or C says in front of the uniform name. I mean, it's just one of those situations that everybody can play a little bit of everything. And I think what you learn out of this is who works well with each other. And what I've been most impressed with has been Mark and Shed, the two freshmen on the floor at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're talking about positionless players. Well, Justin Gorham personifies that, right? He's got 14 rebounds. 10 on the offensive end. He's flirting with a career high in rebounding, and he doesn't really have a position. Good pass.
And a better finish. Nicely done, Reggie Chaney off the feed from Dejan Giroux.
14 points now for Reggie Chaney.
Is he getting close?
He is real close.
It's almost like a curse that I said, there's no chance he's going to get a career high. And then we started to watch his point total. Houston foul and more free throws here. And the foul is going to be on Dejan Giroux. That'll be his third. More free throws here for Tremaine Crosby.
16 points in the game for Troymont.
So he needs 39 to pass 1,000. Maybe 38 as he gets the first of two. Alcorn State, I mentioned this earlier in the broadcast, have two more non-conference games. They'll be playing Liberty and then Santa Clara, and then they get right into conference play. Ball tipped up, and we're going to get a foul on the other side after the rebound on the missed basket free throw attempt. And we will go the other direction here as the foul is on David Pierce, his second. This is where college basketball gets
bogged down.
Uber choppy.
Yeah, no doubt.
I got one for you. You know, I've been doing Rockets games the last 4 years. What about, would you like to see, because I'm always trying to think of making the game as fluid as possible, not allowing substitutions after made free throws.
I like it. I didn't realize that's an NBA rule.
It's not. It's in the college game. But you can't. When a made free throw, you just resume play. You don't get to sub anybody after the second made free throw.
You're talking about in the college game right now?
Yeah.
They can't substitute after? Oh, you want to institute that rule?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were saying they already can. I'm like, yeah, they can.
No, there's
Oh,
and one.
Oh,
Man.
man.
Contact and everything, and the throwdown for Justin Gorham.
Holy smokes, that was strong by Justin Gorham. What a game he's had. You talk about being penalized for coming over late and trying to help. Yeah, that was strong.
Very, very late. And the foul is on Kobe Wilson.
I love guys that finish crashing through the backboard. A lot of times big guys just try to go straight up and straight down. And, you know, when you're teaching a young kid, you say, picture a curtain hanging down from the bottom of the backboard. And each time you finish a play, you ought to be crashing through that curtain.
How about an offensive rebound? And a putback for Reggie Chaney. Getting one step closer to a Reed Geddes Hall of Fame moment here. Right corner three ball. Boy, nothing
nice
but nylon that time for David Pierce.
Alcorn State's been at their best when they take quick shots. They come down to transition and don't allow that Houston defense to set up.
Under 8 remaining. Cougars up 21. We've seen some athleticism on both ends of the floor here in the second half. Giroux, double pumps to the window, comes off the front rim, and he'll get free throws. Boy, it looks like Dejan is much more aggressive offensively here in this second half. State trying to remain competitive in this contest. Done a pretty good job here in the second half, although we see Dejan Giroux at the free throw line, and he makes the first of 2. That now puts the Cougars at 13-23, which is well under their 80% clip during the course of the first 4 games of the season.
An amazing statistic. Alcorn State in their first 2 games, they have made 32 field goals, and they have a total of 4 assists.
That's not being a stingy sports keeper, is it?
That's not sustainable, right? I mean, you can't have any type of success if you're not sharing the ball and getting more points out of your system and out of your offensive sets.
Crosby out left side. Shot attempt is no good from the hands of Byron Joshua, and we have a whistle underneath.
Zone defense that time. That may be the first zone we've seen from Houston this season.
Haven't seen one yet, really, from Alcorn in this afternoon's game. 10 to shoot. Way out high, Pierce takes it. Long 3. Ooh. Wow, hit that one. David Pierce from NBA range.
Well, he gets down low and gets you shaking left and right, creates just enough sliver of daylight to pull the trigger.
Third triple of the game for Alcorn State.
Good pass.
Inside, 2 more. Reggie Chaney. He's got 18 for the game.
It is a new career high for Reggie Chaney. He had 17 points against Missouri back in February of 2020 when he was at Arkansas. He's been outstanding here this afternoon in this game.
Just like I called it.
Oh, man.
Up faking is Morris. Underneath, going up, reverse layup, missed that time by Wilson. Rebound of the Cougars. Chaney on the floor looking for that loose basketball. Here goes Giroux to the lane. Out wide open left corner. 3 ball for Grimes. Yeah. Cougars starting to really feel it here in the second half, especially from distance.
Yeah, really good find by Dejan Giroux, and he knew exactly where Quentin Grimes was supposed to be spotted up, and that was really good execution. Houston staying in this 3-2 zone defense.
Cougars 21% from three-point range, coming into today at 32, so some of the shooting numbers not nearly as good as they normally have been. There's a block by Chaney. A little bit, I think, of Gorham as well. Grimes. It's turned back by Morris. Back out near midcourt for Giroux. Moving picks. 15-footer coming up. And 1. Basket for Giroux. on a foul on Byron Joshua.
Has been really good here in the second half. Dejan Giroux now with 9 points and going to the free throw line. Struggled to get anything going offensively in the first half, but he has looked really good here in the second.
In fact, Reed, all of his points have come here in the second 20 minutes. So quietly, we were talking about his numbers at 8.5 a game and 7.5 rebounds. He's going to get to that number here. Maybe not with the rebounding count, but he does have 5 assists tonight.
Justin Gorham checking out of the game. I hope he's not done. He was flirting with a new career high rebounding. Goes to the bench with 14 rebounds. His career high was 17 back in 2018 against James Madison.
27-point lead. Now working the largest of the game. Low, right side of the baseline. Fraley. Shot no good. Long rebound picked up in the open floor by Mark.
Alcorn State has not scored since Houston went to that zone defense.
Here's Kieron Powell in the ball game. Pass inside does not deliver a bucket for Houston. Back comes Alcorn State. Long deep three. Another one for Pierce off the front rim. Tap up rebound and Kieron Powell with a board. Good to see Powell play these last 5 minutes here.
To see him get a touch and see something positive happen.
Mark,
Ooh,
an amazing flip and one. Survives the contact, we hope, with a chance at a three-point opportunity. And boy, he
hit his head.
Really slow to get up.
I think he hit the back of his head. You may not want to pick him up yet till he's ready. Boy, what a nice finish through contact and finish on the other side of the rim and left-handed. See if his head doesn't slap when he comes down. Hard to see. A nice finish by Tremont Mark.
So Mark now with an opportunity here to complete a three-point play, get him to 10 points.
Kid is just a walking bucket. You know, I mean, he has got some elite level offensive skills. And once he buys in on the defensive end and rebounding like Kelvin will demand from him, Kelvin and his staff, and this kid is going to be really special at Houston.
So the foul was on Kobe Wilson. That's his fourth. And the lefty with a chance here to hit double digits. Boy, the free throw numbers today. Head scratching for the Cougars. 9 straight points, by the way, for Houston. Lead of 29. And up goes Troymaine Crosby against 4 different white shirt defenders. Dejan Giroux with the whistle. That's his fourth. Not that foul trouble will be any problem for either side here with 4:22 remaining.
Let me give Troymaine Crosby my Deshaun Watson Player of the Game award. He's been really, really good and has been undermanned the entire game, but man, has he competed.
They've had 16 turnovers today. They've only shot 3 of 16 from 3, and they've missed 9 of their 21. So it's just a question, and there's another missed free throw.
Yeah, but
basketball in its most simplistic form is you have to put the ball in the basket
and not give it to the other team.
Correct. If you're not going to be a fluid shooting team, you got to take better care of the basketball, and that will probably hold them back a little bit as free throw number 2 is good.
Well, they had 14 turnovers at halftime. They had 0 assists and 14 turnovers. Only 2 turnovers here in the second half. So something to build on for Landon Bussey.
And again, they're pressing on the inbounds. Here comes Tremont Mark. Out baseline. Jumper on the way. Rattles home. Nicely done. As a basket goes for Kieron Powell, who finds himself with a field goal as a Houston Cougar. And a steal. Quint Grimes. Look out! Timeout. Alcorn State. Putting the finishing touches with that 6 rebounds, and he's done it in just 20 minutes of action on the floor. As you look at how Alcorn's gotten a little bit better, but Houston really shooting lights out compared to what they did in the first 20 minutes.
Houston for the season holding opponents to just 39% for the floor. So although Landon Bussey's team much better in the second half, still Houston playing great defense.
Fade away, and that's a swat. Nicely done. Turning, spinning, 5 on the shot clock. Shot attempt for Crosby. No, but a whistle. I want to see where the contact was because, man, I enjoy watching the Houston Cougars hustling. When you don't get a whistle, that means job well done.
Yeah,
and
really,
this one by Kieran.
Yeah,
oh, goodness.
Good block, and then he contested the other one, and I think Crosby stuck his leg out as Kieran Powell jumped past him, and Kelvin Sampson jumping up and yelling at Kieran.
Free throw on the way, good for Crosby, as we'll see Arnie Morris return.
Crosby now with 19 points.
Pierce with 13. Not a whole lot of scoring from other folks. That's 32 of the 45 points from two guys on the team. 31-point advantage. Mark the lefty.
Oh, that's a mismatch.
Grimes. Step back three. Hits again.
You know, we were talking about his three-point shooting. It hasn't been really good, but there's no reason that it won't be. His release and the ability, the strength and athleticism to step back behind the three-point line and to lift up off the ground that high. Oh boy, he just continues to play at a very high level.
And he's going to get called a foul on the right side of the floor. To his amazement, free throws coming up. To back up your point, Reed, 28% for Grimes coming into today. He is 3 of 6 from three-point range.
Kelvin's about to get a technical.
So strange not seeing Kelvin in his suit with that patented blue shirt, the tie and the jacket usually off fairly early in the contest.
Well, he's mad because Quentin Grimes, he literally backed off and pulled his hands back to demonstrate that there was no contact and still got called for the foul. And Kelvin may be up by 33, but he wasn't happy with that.
So free throws are made as Myson Lowe returns.
Yeah, look at the reference. Like, come on, coach, you're up by 33.
Ooh, whatever the initial response from that official was not pleasing to Kelvin's ears.
No, they're still talking.
That's when the mask really helps out, I think,
I
a little
was
bit.
just thinking the same thing.
To the baseline.
What'd you say, coach?
2 more. How about that, Kieran Powell? This is where Kieran's going to get some brownie points for Coach Sampson amidst his anger. Long three-pointer, good, Myson Lowe. Wow, the freshman dialing up from, I think, the campus of Alcorn State in Lorman, Mississippi.
I think Alcorn State needs to play faster. I think they need to just run in the first good, clean look. They just need to, a run and gun spread and let the thing fly because they've been good in transition.
Speaking of letting it fly, Kieran Powell has become a scoring machine in the second half. Kieran's like, you have to open up this rotation one more spot if you don't mind.
He's going to get playing time by rebounding, defending. Last time down, we saw him block that shot, protecting the rim, and that's how he's going to get on the floor. But he's got some offensive skills.
Grimes wants another triple.
Oh,
and
man.
He'll hit it.
Holy cow.
Another 3-ball. That's his 4th one of the game. Give him 25 for the contest. And a steal. Well, got back for Alcorn. Well, we're just launching all over the place. A 3-ball good on the way. And up for David Pierce, who starting to pad stat a little bit himself.
We went about 30 minutes where nobody could. Ohio State at the end of the year looking up and they don't have enough games to qualify. You wonder how many games, conference games, these kids will get in.
Not that it matters right now, but the first bracketology, or the latest one that I saw, had only one team in the conference going to the NCAA tournament. That's the one you're watching right now.
SMU's really good. Kendrick Davis, their little point guard, and Tyson Jolly. That is a really, really good backcourt, and that's an NCAA caliber team.
Offensive rebound to Kieran Powell off the Grimes miss. Ball out of bounds. Possession stays with Houston with 1:02 remaining.
Good hustle by Kieran Powell. Maybe the first signs of, I don't want to say life on Kieran Powell, but maybe a little glimmer of light bulb going off, right?
Well, I think the extended playing time probably has helped a little bit. Got off on the baseline is Grimes. Kieran, a jump hook. No.
Good rebound.
Offensive rebound, fresh 20.
Cougars 48 rebounds to Alcorn State 29.
To the lane one more time. Grimes will have a chance to add to his stat card.
about having a shortened rotation. If you want to raise the white flag, there's really nobody to put in.
No, this would have been a good opportunity to get the two of the walk-ons on, but unfortunately they have been stricken by COVID as well. As you look at Alcorn, they've got those two non-conference games. Add a third one with Vanderbilt. That's a lot of travel.
Yeah,
usually they're very accustomed to that. They will, if you look at any usually SWAC teams, they'll be 8, 9, 10 games on the road before they even play their first home game. Free throw good to make it a 35-point advantage with 43.5 seconds left to go. Crosby across midcourt. Zone here left. Arnie Morris to the baseline. Fraley. Get the ball knocked out. Shot clock at 15. That's where Fraley will inbound it here for Alcorn State. One more substitution. Boy, Landon Bussey, if you're on his team, you got to be ready at any moment because they're going to bring you in and out pretty quickly.
He's had this same energy, seeing at the bottom of your screen. From the opening tip, he has had that kind of energy in this game.
Baseline jumper for Troymaine Crosby, who will be happy with his efforts. Obviously, the team performance not to his satisfaction, but a good day for him overall. Cougars just walking across the timeline with the right hand of one Quentin Grimes, who has been really good today. 27 points. Much of that coming here in the second half.
It wasn't always pretty, but exactly what Kelvin Sampson would want from his team. A dominant performance. They weren't very good the first 10 minutes of the second half, but other than